Hello, hello. Hi, this is Mike Damon, and today I want to talk about Iran and Israel and what seems to be a war that's coming soon. Right now, we're in the situation where we have two nuclear powers um, getting to the point where there is nothing more left to say, to negotiate, because I've seen the speeches that Ahmadinejad made, and basically the guy is dead on with a lot of things that he's talking about. Really, he's talking about the council on foreign relations. He's talking about Zionism. He's talking about a lot of issues. And the one thing about him is that he believes God is on his side. I mean, I really believe the majority of Muslim leaders, they don't really believe in Islam. I don't believe that. But I think it's a very good tool for them to manipulate their people. I mean, how easy is it to rule a country um if the population thinks that Allah called you to be on a throne, and so you don't even need to discipline. You just gotta let the clergy run it for you. You know what I mean? It's absolute monarchy. It's complete control, not only over the law but also over the minds of the people. So the majority of Muslim leaders do not believe in the Quran. I'm 100% convinced. But I think Ahmadinejad actually believes in it. He seems to be the kind of guy that's really not scared to go down, and Israel knows that. So Israel and the United States now send their ships towards him. So you can imagine that there's gonna be a little clash happening very, very soon. It's not gonna go down well, and from there you're gonna see an escalation of the problems because Israel wants it. Israel wants it. That's the reality of it. Israel wants war with Iran. But what will happen also is that all the other Muslim countries are likely going to go against Israel after that together. So I really, really predict that there's quite a bit of. I'm gonna give you guys some Bible verses. I don't want to say it on the video right now because I want to keep it religion free for those of you who complain to me all the time that you want to not be brainwashed or whatever, how you put it. So basically, I'm going to put some Bible verses on there that actually just talk about destruction of Israel. And I was not aware of that until today, that there are a lot of verses talking about actually destruction of Israel. And we're going to see World War III. I would really, really pay attention if I was you to what's happening right now in Israel and Iran, because the United Nations put new sanctions on these guys, and Iran is not going to comply simply because his mind is not on logic, his mind is on the Quran. So you can have all the political debates in the world that you want, and the guy believes this is what he needs to do. He believes he needs to rid Israel of Zionism, and that is his calling. And when you have religion, you and I know very well, if you really believe in something, you're ready to die for it too. You know what I mean? You're ready to die for it. If you really believe that's the road you gotta take, and the narrow one, you gotta get through that. And if you leave, there's hell right here. There's hell there, and there's hell there. So you can only go through the middle. And that middle means confront Israel, start a war with Israel, or what have you. And both sides want it. Both sides, I mean, I may say Iran may not really want it, but Iran is more than ready for it because he believes God has called him to do that. So recently I've read something interesting that until 1953 there was actually complete democracy in Iran. Iran was actually a really, really good country. And what happened in 53 that the government was overthrown by the CIA, and eventually the Shah came in, and you have other countries, a lot of Muslim countries like Indonesia, for example, for 40 years they had a dictator, Suharto, and he was also by the CIA. He was sent there, and eventually they got rid of him. And eventually they got rid of the Shah, of course, in Persia, in Iran. And so, it's very, very easy to infiltrate countries when you can manipulate them financially, or when you can threaten with death or punishment on such. But when a political leader, is really religiously minded, it's a different story. It's a very, very different story because these guys, they have other goals. They want to be pure in the sight of Allah, and that's how he believes he can purify himself. So, of course, he's being portrayed as crazy in the media, but you gotta also see that he makes a lot of very, very good points that Westerners completely ignore. And you also gotta realize that his words are often spun around. And yes, he said, Zionists are not real Jews and all of these things, but you also gotta look at what he bases that on. And I find it very, very interesting that the more I hear about what Ahmadinejad is saying, the more I actually agree with him. But, it's, of course, you have the choice now between the MWO and the NWO. Do you want the Muslim world order or do you want the New World Order? Because you need to also look at the Quran and realize that if they get their way, then Islam will take over the world. So that's what the Westerners are afraid of. And that's why it's not going to be easy for somebody like Ahmadinejad to convince anybody in the West that, there is a need to support him. Because who in the West wants to live, in a country or in a world where Islam rules? Nobody does. So you have a lot of different spiritual warfares, or whatever you want to call it, mixed in together. And when it comes down to it, people will trust their own government or support their own government and say, you know what, these guys are crazy over there. We're going to support our own, we'll take the consequences. And the consequences, of course, will be that you will lose more of your rights, there will be more problems at home and such. But what else is new? 9/11 did that. The oil spill is doing its part right now. So basically, you can do what you want, you can think what you want. But I'm just telling you, that's what I believe you can expect right now. That's what I believe you can expect. You can expect a nuclear war, a major war, possibly the destruction of Israel. Read up in the Bible, I'll give you the quote later on. The destruction of Israel and somewhat of a rebirth. And the rest is going to depend on whatever you believe in your faith or what have you. Do you believe there will be a beautiful new world under Rockefeller? Or do you believe the God of the Bible is going to come and clean up the mess and take care of things? So, was Babylon good or was it bad? Was it tree of knowledge, real knowledge, or was it temptation by Satan? You decide. I'm not going to do it for you. But regardless, answers will come eventually. And right now what's coming is Iran, Israel. In the next few days you're going to see more boating attacks or flotilla attacks. There's going to be a lot more of that. It's all step by step by step. That flotilla thing, no big deal, but it was a big deal. Just like the Crown Prince got assassinated right before World War I, or, the staged attack from Poland, whatever. There's so many little things that trigger the support of the people for a bigger agenda. And the bigger agenda we're yet to see. So stay tuned. I'll give you another video presentation tomorrow. God bless.